Okay, bro, so welcome to the world of sci-fi notation because I don't like saying scientific notation. So basically in this short segment, hopefully this works, I'm gonna kind of go over the why we do this, the parts of the actual number that you always see, and the steps to it will probably be in my next little video, probably at lunch. Hopefully no one can hear me. I'm like in a study room right next to the computers on the first floor of the library. I'm technically not supposed to be in here, but whatever. So one of the biggest issues I have with math is I tend to keep asking why. Why do I have to move this decimal here? Why does this number have to be this way? And I think it's because I overthink a lot. And the thing about math is math people will tell you math is logic. No, homie. Math is steps. It is formulas, it is things we memorize because we follow the rules. We follow the rules of math so that we can get a passing grade. Because only math people who really enjoy math like to bend the rules. Us, no. We are simple farmers just trying to make it to harvest, all right? So scientific notation, why do we use it? Okay, so we take big numbers and we want to put them into smaller numbers. Or we take smaller numbers into bigger numbers just so that we can see it easier, we can read it easier, and mostly because math people are lazy. Don't believe what they tell you, they're motherfucking lazy. All right, so big numbers meaning like, ooh, I have a thingy. Let me find the right pen. Here we go. So bigger numbers meaning like 4, 7, 8. I don't even know how big of a number that is. Okay, that's like a pretty huge number. And then smaller numbers are generally pertaining to numbers that are less than 1. So like that. And we want to go in reverse so that we can read it easier. So moving on to the actual structure of scientific notation. No matter what, you are always going to see scientific notation have these parts. And sometimes they have a bit more parts than you would have thought they would in certain places, but they still mean basically the same thing. Let me fix my pen. Okay, so you're always going to see a number like this. You're going to see a whole number, you're going to see a decimal, and then you're going to see a digit in the decimal place. There might be 3, 4, 5 over here after this one, or it could just be a bunch of zeros, but the fact is there's always something behind the decimal. You're always going to have a little x to show that you're multiplying, and then you're always going to have this 10 here. Math people call it a base 10, and that's because this is totally useless information, but 10 is kind of like their go-to number for fast multiplication because you're just adding zeros all the time. So this is a base 10. And over here, so you can, there's always going to be an exponent. So what these all mean is this entire numeric value is telling you these are the digits that are not zeros. Okay. However, sometimes you might see this. So you will never ever see a 0 here. So in this spot right here in front of the decimal, there will never ever be a 0. After, there might be, just to show that there is a decimal place because this is necessary. You have to have a decimal place after the decimal. And sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 3, it can be any number. But basically what this whole entire thing is showing you is that this is the most simplified version. Okay, it is the most broken down thing that we can get. And what this side tells you is how much do we move it. So how many places are we skipping? How many places are we moving? I can't write with one hand. Okay, and so those are the basic parts. There's a lot more to this. There's a lot more like underneath math concerning like decimals and stuff. So if you have issues with decimals, please let me know, because I tend to like go over every little thing, and that makes it confusing. So I'm not gonna give like a whole lesson on decimals right now, but if you need me to go over decimals, please just let me know. I really don't mind. But if you understand decimals, then just understand that these are the basic parts to scientific notation. And you might get tripped up sometimes by thinking, well, aren't these two different numbers? No, they're not. Because we're kind of having an imaginary parentheses right here. And whenever you see parentheses in math, the numbers in here, inside it, are always together. So whatever's inside of parentheses, they're always together. And there's imaginary parentheses around scientific notation, meaning to say that they are not two separate numbers. They're just one number.